offenses that we think.
Yes, so there you go. PTS.
MyBookie.ag. I like this division.
Andre, why don't you start us off in the East? NFC East.
I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. You guys know that. I'm very low on my team this year. They're going to be a very bad team. They're going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. Let me tell you why. They lost a lot of key pieces on defense in the secondary. The other half of their defense is suspended. Ezekiel Elliott suspended.
Unbelievable.
Their offensive line, people keep talking about it, but they lost Doug Free. They lost Ronald Leary. And I like the New York Giants. I mean, they have a lot of good young defensive players. Landon Collins, Eli Apple, they're young defensive players. What's better than a good defensive player? A good young defensive player. I mean, and they got a good run stuffer in Damon Harrison.
Great defensive player.
Great young defensive players too. Those are great.
That's even better than a good young defensive player.
JPP, he has another year of experience with his club hand. He has another year of experience with his club hand. Olivier Vernon, good passers. They just have all the pieces. I'll take the New York football Giants. Dallas Cowboys are going to be bad.
Welcome to the spread, where you get analysis based on one man's ability to play with his self-induced firework handicap.
Yeah, his
what are your picks?
Inefficiencies.
Ricky,
we're on live. People are waiting.
I enjoyed the fact you brought up. Anytime we can talk about his finger, I love it.
Mangled hand.
I agree. I like the Giants as well. The Cowboys, I expect them to take a huge step back this year. You didn't even really get into the Ezekiel Elliott suspension, which
kind of adapted.
Yeah, because I think they have issues even before that. And then you add that on top of it, you're going to be asking a whole lot from Dak Prescott. And for me, I think the jury's still out on him a little bit. I'm not so sure he's the game changer that we were led to believe he was last season, so we'll see what happens there. But I agree. The Giants, pretty interesting when you look across the league. Very rarely, I feel like, when a team goes out and splurges in free agency, does it work out in their favor, spending as much money as they did. But they hit on all their free agents last year. Yep. And that defense was awesome. The defensive line was awesome. So I just think in that division, given some of the, how their strengths match up with some of the other teams' flaws, I think they ultimately win that division.
Yep. Making a clean sweep.
Although I'm not competitive division.
Yeah, it is, and this is another tough division to kind of pinpoint. So I'm going to go with the team that I saw be good last year. I tell you what, though, through 2 weeks of the preseason, again, I know it's the preseason, they have looked awful offensively, which is kind of an issue.
They got plenty of drama there as well.
And now Odell Beckham's hurt as well. You don't know, that kind of thing lingers, especially for a guy who makes his money off of his partially off of his legs. They also have no running game, which is kind of an issue. They ranked 30th last year yards per carry. Paul Perkins.
They need to bring Orleans Darkwell back.
Yeah. They, like I said, this year, I think they have to do it the same exact way they did it last year. They've got to win. Like, how many games or at least it felt like they won games like 9-7 last year. I think they got to do that again this year. Good news is they got games against some crappy offenses this year. They played Denver, Seattle, the Rams, San Francisco, Kansas City, another team that gets to play the NFC West, and I'm high on. So, they, like I said, even like Seattle, you could say that their offense might be okay, but they're going to pin their ears back, and Russell Wilson's going to have a long year.
Yeah.
NFC North, Ricky, kick it off.
I like the Packers, and a lot of this stems from just the guy who they got on the center. I mean, we saw what he did last season with basically no supporting cast whatsoever. I mean, we talked about how much injuries kind of hurt the Chargers last year, and in the NFC it was the Packers who were just decimated week after week, didn't even have a running back on their roster essentially, and they still came within one win of the Super Bowl. So I think that
off to number 88.
They addressed, they looked at their areas of need. I think they addressed those pretty well. I mean, I don't know. I guess it comes down to what the interior of that offensive line does. I'd like to see, what type of running attack. I like for them to have some semblance of a rushing attack. But even if they don't, I still like them to win that division.
See, that's the thing. We just talked about the Giants not having a running attack. The Packers aren't going to have a running attack. But I like the Packers. Where are you shaking your head?
They ran the ball effectively after they gave them
their running back is a wide receiver.
And he ran the ball well.
Elliott. Okay, he's cool, but
they also drafted about 17 running backs. Yeah. So they're probably going to hit on one.
Aaron Rodgers.
I would like to think
more likely than not, they're going to be passing the ball. But even if none of those guys hit, my point is, even if those guys don't hit, I still like the Packers because Aaron Rodgers can win without a running back. He's the best quarterback in the league. And Martellus Bennett, you throw him in there, it's going to be an explosions in Green Bay every week.
explosions and fireworks.
And plus, that
side of the
division's not
table.
very good. The Lions, I like what they have on offense, but I don't like what they have on defense. Vikings, exact opposites. I like what they have on defense, hate their offense. The Bears, they're going to improve, but they still have a long way to go.
Ted Thompson, finally, figuring out that you can spend money in the offseason. I'm taking the Packers as well. They went out and signed cornerback Devon House, who was good as a Packer. The Packers let him walk, as the Packers are wont to do. He went and signed up for a boatload of money in Jacksonville. Sucked. Now he's back in Green Bay on short money. I like it. It's just a one-year deal, kind of a prove-it deal. They drafted Kevin King, who's basically a first-round talent. They traded down to do that. I like that. Nice job, Ted. Offensive line, like you said, an issue. Barkley, T.J. Lang, both gone. Now, Brian Bulaga got hurt in the preseason, so apparently this is going to start early. It doesn't sound that bad, but it's something to monitor. You don't want that guy going down. He's one of the best tackles in football. They took Jamal Williams out of BYU in the draft. Good running back, kind of runs a little bit harder than Montgomery, as opposed to the shifty type that Montgomery is. So. And again, 12, he's the man,
Yeah.
And Martellus Bennett, I think, is, for as good as I thought that Jared Cook made them late in the season last year, Martellus Bennett is a better football player.
Yes.
He's also going to help in the run blocking game, one of the better run blocking tight ends. So
Hey, all I'm saying is if the running back doesn't exist, I still believe in Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
It's a compliment. I don't know why you're shaking your head.
I think that they're going to run the ball better this year. I think they're going to try like hell to run the ball better at least. They're going. Mike McCarthy's going to die.
They drafted guys with pretty versatile skill sets as well. You know what I mean? So the ability to mix and match there. Maybe you hit on a guy, maybe it turns out to be like this year's version of Jordan Howard or something.
Right.
You don't necessarily have to run the ball either. You can do short passes to running backs. That works. Actually.
Right. Yeah. And or you just do short passes as a wide receiver. Maybe the Patriots do the same thing basically. So all right. Anything else on the North? I don't think there's really.
Let's go to my.
No, that division kind of bores me.
Yeah.
To be quite honest with
I
you.
like the Bears though. They're interesting.
Yeah.
NFC South. Who started last one? That was Ricky.
Yeah.
So, Andre,
okay. This is tough. They all. You can give a reason for any of these teams to win the division. I'm gonna go with the New Orleans Saints. Yes, I am. It's like the one that's out of left.
Literally the only team that I would say that doesn't have a chance to win this division.
Look, Drew Brees, he's gonna be great regardless. I think the Adrian Peterson addition is gonna be. Not enough people are talking about it. This guy is a talent, and he's back now. And Drew Brees is going to give you short passes all the time. It's going to be like, remember Brees and Reggie Bush had that little dynamic going on back in the day? I think you're going to see a lot of Brees and Adrian Peterson going on. Adrian Peterson running the ball. And who cares if they lost Brandon Cooks? Michael Thomas is a great receiver. And who cares if they lost Brandon Cooks? Because Brees could throw the ball to anyone. He doesn't get enough credit. I like him. I think they're... I didn't say I don't like him. I like him.
I know.
Their defense is still meh, but they added Marshawn Lattimore, great cornerback. I think that a lot of other teams in that division have certain weaknesses, which we can get to as you guys give your picks. I'll probably interrupt you and say them, so you guys go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Go ahead. Who's better than the Saints?
So I like the Panthers to win that division, and you go back to what we were talking about with Green Bay and the ability to kind of dink and dunk some short passes to their running backs, and I think that's going to be a huge factor in this Panthers offense this season. The Christian McCaffrey pickup, Ohio State wide receiver Curtis Samuel in round 2. So they got guys that, some of these plays where Cam Newton's out running in space, getting his head knocked off. I don't see that being as much of an issue this year if they can get the ball in the hands of somebody like McCaffrey and let him make a play after the catch.
If Newton can get them the ball, 52% completion percentage last year.
I'm just saying. I
their
think
defense, they signed Julius Peppers, who's 67 years old.
That was a bad decision.
You use him situationally. I don't think it's that bad of a pickup. I love their linebacker core. I love Luke Kuechly coming back.
Luke Kuechly's coming off a bad injury. Thomas Davis
exactly.
is 34.
He's back from an injury.
Charles Johnson
Thomas
is 31.
Davis, Shaq Thompson.
Yeah.
I like their defense. I like them a lot.
I like the Panthers too. The thing about Kuechly, Kuechly, if he walks into a door, he could be done for the year. That's tough. Anyway, I like McCaffrey. I love it. We'll get to this because they might be one of my...
I think he's going to be...
They might be one of my wild card picks.
Pick.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you might want to go over to mybookie.ag. Again, sign up, PTS.
Great prop bets.
I'm getting to it. I'm just, while we're talking about it, I'm saying that might be a nice futures bet to make for Christian McCaffrey to win Rookie of the Year. So that's where you use your bonus.
As a tease, we'll be doing
next
that
week.
Probably next week. We'll look more at props and dive into those. But yeah, I was screwing around on there early and plenty of awesome prop bets to check out. So
just trying to be organic. Anyways,
All right, NFC West.
Can I pick my pick in the South?
You said you like the Panthers.
No, I said I like them as a wild card pick, which I was teasing my wild
spoiler.
card. I know, exactly.
Earmuffs.
Well, even if I did pick them, I can't make a point.
Okay, go ahead.
I got a few points to make. I'm taking the Falcons. This seems like maybe a questionable pick considering all the Super Bowl hangover stuff. But
Yes.
Kyle Shanahan gone. That stinks for them. But just so many weapons. I don't like. Sure, they lost the Super Bowl in heartbreaking fashion. They returned just about everybody on offense. Yeah. So
I said, yeah.
except for their offensive coordinator. I'm big on Sharp Football Analysis, the website, whatever. I even bought the little book here. This is what I'm looking through here.
A lot of colors coming
It's
up.
actually really cool.
It's very color coordinated.
I'll show you guys this later. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff in here. But they're also big on schedule. He goes off of, he does his schedule, I think, based on like futures and like as opposed to just looking at last year. So I don't necessarily know the formula here, but he says Atlanta faced the second toughest defensive schedule last year. This year it'll be the 23rd toughest.
And
so they're
going
to
to
face
good?
Yeah, exactly. And they're going to face worse defenses this year. I like what they did on defense too. They went out and drafting Takaris McKinley, who has been a freak show so far during training camp and preseason. You put him up with Dan Quinn. Oh boy, that guy's got some serious potential. Desmond Trufant's healthy. They signed on Terry Pope. Whatever. Pro Football Focus likes their offensive line. It's called Chris Chester, the weak link. Chris Chester is gone, so their offensive line is gonna be good. Where are we going now?
Going out west.
Oh, the West. Sorry, yes,
Yeah.
the NFC
No one
West.
picked the Bucks. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't like the
I
Bucks.
think they have the worst quarterback in the division.
Hard Knocks is killing the Bucks for me. So,
Yeah.
Ricky, why don't you start us off in the West?
I'm going to stick with the Seahawks in this division.
The more I looked at the Seahawks, though, the less I like them. Which is, I'll get to my point, but I just not to jump down your pick,
if you want to, because I don't really have much to offer in the way of the Seahawks.
Right.
That division stinks now.
It does.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that division. Talk about a rapid fall from grace, and I mean, maybe we're seeing the beginning of that with the AFC West too, as we were picking up the flaws earlier. But this division once looked pretty stacked. Now it's, we were talking about the 49ers roster the other night, and just how there's nobody on it. That's a bad football team. As much slack as the Jets get for having a terrible roster, I think the 49ers.
The only
equally
difference is
terrible.
at least like the 49ers feel like they have a direction.
They got something. Yeah. I agree. But so I don't know. I like the Seahawks. I like them. Shaq Griffin in round 3. So type kind of fits their mold as a guy that they can plug into their secondary. So I don't know what this Eddie Lacy pickup, what's going to come of that.
He's not looked good so far.
He's I've never been a big Eddie Lacy guy, so
They still have Tom
I just
Brady,
kind of
right?
wrote that off. But you'd like to see them get something from the running game, because that was huge. I mean, we can't overstate enough how much losing Marshawn Lynch has impacted that team. I mean, Thomas Rawls, I think they kind of thought was going to take the torch and run with it. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
So. But all that said, I still like them. I think the Cardinals are getting up there a little bit. They lost some key pieces on their defense. I thought they were the biggest threat. And then the Rams, I don't think they're there yet. So kind of just by default, I like the Seahawks.
Yeah, same. I think they'll actually be one of those teams that, because their division is not very good, they'll just beat up on it, maybe get a bye week out of it, just beat up on everyone, and be kind of a fluky team heading into the playoffs. They'll have an inflated record, but I have the Seahawks,
It's interesting when you look at the odds, too.
Yeah,
Seahawks.
Oh, they still the Super Bowl odds love them.
Still one of the favorites to get to the Super Bowl.
I thought it was interesting. I was looking at Pro Football Focus ranked every offensive line in the league. They had Seattle dead last, obviously, because they were just terrible last year. One thing they mentioned, they go, if they can get George Fant out of the lineup, that should help. Well, he tore his ACL. He's done for the year. So is that a good thing that they're down one guy? I mean,
addition by subtraction.
One less option, I guess, now? Yeah, I don't know. I picked the Seahawks as well. My first two little notes here are negative, so that's probably not a good indication of how much I like this. Jimmy Graham, when they used Jimmy Graham last year, they were good. The problem is he's not always healthy. He's already banged up again this year. That's not good. I think he's got back spasms. But talking about injuries, Earl Thomas is back. And this was a big one last year. When Earl Thomas went down, that team was screwed. In the games after Earl Thomas got hurt, they gave up 38 points to Green Bay. No shame in that, I guess, but still. They gave up 3 to Los Angeles, the Rams, but
It's a lot of points.
Yeah, seriously. Well, how'd that happen?
Offensive
explosion.
Did they score any in that game? Was that the game?
Was that the 6-3 game?
Yeah, something like that. So then they gave up 34 to Arizona. They gave up 23 to San Francisco, who had Colin Kaepernick playing. Kaepernick completed 17 of 22 passes. They gave up 6 to Detroit. I think that was a home primetime game. Matt Stafford had that banged up digit, you guys remember. And then they got smoked in the divisional round by Atlanta. So
Seahawks.
they're different when he's on the field. So